Okay, let's start quiz 7, question 3. Guadalupe took a mortgage of $497,000 for a house and just made the 95th end of month payment. If interest on the loan was 4.06 compounded monthly and the mortgage has a period of 16 years, what are her monthly payments? All right, so let's activate the calculator first, and while the calculator is activating, we'll go back here and fill in the boxes. All right, the mortgage is 497,000, so that would be the present value. Okay, the 95th end of month payment, so we know it's monthly payments and it's at the end of the month, so PY would be 12. Interest is 4.06 compounded monthly, so CY will also be 12. All right, and we usually use the calculator to calculate that. IY is 4.06. There we are. And we have the present value. The future value would be 0 because we would like to pay off this mortgage or Guadalupe. Okay, so the payment is what we, or the payments are what we need to compute, or what is each payment. Okay, so here we are, and it may be a good idea if we would just adjust our screens and get everything working nicely, and we can start and do the computation. All right, so this is a computation we're used to, finding the payment. So let's start, turn on the calculator, second IY, PY is 12, and CY is also 12. So we put in 1, 2, enter for PY, and that is the same value for CY. Okay, so how many years? Well, it's 16 years, so we use the 16 to calculate N. So 16 second N gives us 192. What we did was actually take the 16 years and multiplied it by the PY value of 12. So 16 times 12 gives us the 192. Okay, 4.06 is the interest rate. All right. The present value is 497,000, so 497,000 present value. All right, we skip over the payment. The future value is 0, so 0 for the future value, and we compute the payment. Okay, the payment is 3523.92. All right, so that is our number. Okay, we could go and put that number in. We could leave this number here. We'll see what happens. Let's say we did go and put the 3523.92 negative. Okay, there we go, negative. That's the payment. All right. 3523.92. Okay, so now we have to calculate what is the current outstanding balance after the 95th payment. So for that, we have to go to the amortization table. And we do that by clicking on second PV, and there is amort right above PV. So second PV, that puts us into the amortization table. Now we would like to find the balance. Okay, we're looking for balance, and we're looking for 95th payment. So P1, we will put in 95 and click enter. And for P2, we also put in the same value of 95. We go down, and there is the balance, 290,978.22. Okay, so we submit our question, and we have the correct answer. Now remember, this payment, we could have also, let's come out of here. We could have used the computed value, correct, which wasn't rounded. And let's say we go back in now and we do the 95th payment. We find the balance 290,978 point. Now it is slightly different, 41. Okay, now let's see if that value is also acceptable. And we can look there and we find out that both values are correct, or at least they're being marked correct. Okay, so let's go to question number 4. So quiz 7, question 4. All right, Destiny has a mortgage of $538,000 to our bank for property purchase. Okay, the loan is repaid by end of month payments of $4,528.84 with an interest rate of 5.25% compounded monthly over 14 years. What is the interest paid? Okay, what is the interest paid in the 10th year of the mortgage? All right, so we have the data. Let's input it as we know what to do. Let's use our calculator. We can clear it first and then second IY. So what are the payments? They're end of month payments, okay? So PY would be 12. All right, so 12, enter. And what is CY? Well, the interest rate is 5.25 compounded monthly. So CY is also 12, so we don't need to make any changes. Now we get out of there. All right, so this is compounded for 14 years. So the 14, the 1, 4, we go to second and n, and we got the value for n. Now we're given the interest rate, it's 5.25. Okay, so 5.25, that's the interest rate. The present value would be the value of the mortgage, which in this case is $538,000. So 538,000. And that would be the present value. Okay, it's positive because we're in possession of the property, okay, or the money, whichever way we'd like to put it as. Okay, now the end of month payments, this is the size, 4528.84. So 4528.84. And we make it negative because they're payments. All right, the future value we would put in as a 0, right? Because we like the mortgage to be paid off. Okay, so we have all the data in there. Now, what is required is what is the interest paid in the 10th year of the mortgage. All right, so we have to find these values, P1, P2, and of course the interest paid, which we will get from the calculator. Okay, so to do that, we will go into the second PV, that's the amortization table. But what is the value for P1? Now it is in the 10th year. All right, let's swing over to this Word document here. All right, and let's look at what happens. All right, so PY is 12. Now, what happens? First year, the P1 is 1, P2 is 12. Second year, P2 goes from 13 to 24. Third year, 25 to 36. All right, and so on. 37 to 48 for year number 4. So what is happening? How do we get this P1 value? This is the P1 value. Okay, so this is the P1 is really, it is equal to 1. If we can put that in here, it is equal to 1, or we could put it like this, P1 is equal to 1, and we could come back here and put in that P2 is equal to 12, right? Okay, so we can put it like that, and so on. And then this would be the next one for the year number 2, the P1 would be 13, and so on. Okay, so that's the payment. So the 13th or the 24th. Okay, so P is for payment. All right, so that is how it'll work. Okay, so how do we get these numbers? Well, let's say we look at year number 3. So how do we get this 25? Well, we subtract 1. Okay, that gives us this 2 right here. Then we multiply by the PY value, which is 12. And then we add 1 because that would be for the end of year 2. And we have to add 1 to get to year 3. So that's how it goes. P1 would be 25. So in this case here, we can easily put P1 is equal to 25. All right. And we could easily just push that back a little bit there. Okay, and now we would have that P2 would be equal to 36, and that would be year 3. Okay, so now which one are we looking for? So this is a general statement. If you had year number n, that could be any number, or whatever, 2, 3, 10, 15, 20. We subtract 1, we multiply by the PY value, which in this case is 12, add 1, and that gives us the P1 value. And then P2, we just take the year. If it's the 5th year, you put 5 times 12 would give us the P2 value. Okay, now for ours, the year was year number 10. So this is the 10. Okay, this is the question we're doing. Okay, so you want to find, let's go back in here. What is the interest paid in the 10th year? Okay, so let's put it down here. What is the interest paid in the 10th year, 10th year? Okay, all right, so what does that mean? That means that n is equal to 10. So anywhere we see n, we replace it with 10. Okay, so up there it's n, but now it's 10. Okay, so here we put in 10. All right, here we also put in 10. Okay, so what would happen here? 10, we could do that on the calculator. We could go, okay, let's come out of there. We'll go 10 minus 1 is equal to 9 times what? 12 plus 1. So that would be 109. So here the number would be 109. Okay. Now here n is 10. So we take out the value. We take out n. We put in 10 in there. And this number would give us what? Yes, this would give us, okay, up here we can put in 109. And over here we can put in the 120, correct? 120. And here we'll put in the 120. So P1 is 109 and P2 is 120. Okay, so let's go back to the question. P1 is 109. Okay, let's see if we can push this over here. Maybe we can see it a little bit better, and we can pull this over. Okay, there we are. P1 is 109 and P2 is 120. So this is 109. This is, sorry, 120. And then we can go and calculate the balance. All right, so we can minimize this and we can go back to our calculator now. All right, so we have all the data. We just go second PV, and P1 is 109, and we enter. And P2, we go down, and P2 would be 120, enter. Okay, balance is not what we want. PRN is not what we want. The interest is what we're after. And it says to enter a positive value. So we put in 11501.91. And we submit the question and we are correct. Now the same scenario, if you do not round and say you put in 90627, let's see what happens. Does it mark it correct? Yes, it does. Okay, so either way, it will be marked correct. And that is how it's done. So the 10th year, it means that we go here as we did, as you saw. Oops, sorry. Let's enlarge it and then we can see it properly. The 10th year, we go into this formula here and we substitute 10. So it's 10 minus 1 times PY, which is 12. Correct? So this is the 10 minus 1 right here, 10th year, and you multiply by PY, which is 12. And then you have to add 1, because that took us back to the end of the 9th year, which is 108. Okay, 12 times 9 is 108. You have to add 1 to get to 109. And the second number, we just take the year, which is the 10th year, and multiply by PY, which is 10 times 12, gives us 120. So the two numbers are 109 and 120. Okay, very nice. So that is question number 4 of quiz number 7. And those are the answers. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Question number 5. You have a mortgage of $391,000 through the bank for property purchased. The loan is to be repaid by end of month payments. You're given the end of month payments, the interest rate compounded monthly over 23 years. What is the interest included in the 28th payment of the mortgage? All right, so it's somewhat similar to what we had before. Okay, but in a way it's a lot easier because you are given the exact payment. The location of the payment, that is the interest for which is required from that payment, the 28th payment of the mortgage. Okay, so let's insert what we know. It says end of month payments. So let's start. Let's get out of the amortization menu first. We go into the payments. The payment is 12, so we really don't need to do anything. It's there already. But if we wish, we could do as we normally do. Hit on 12 and click enter. All right, now the interest is compounded monthly, so that is also 12. So we don't need to do anything with CY. All right, how many years? Well, it goes for 23 years. So we go 2, 3, second, N, and N is 276. Now, what is the interest rate? The interest rate is 5.71. We put it in 5.71 and we enter. The present value is the mortgage, which is 391,000. So 391,000 is the present value. Okay, what is the payment? Well, end of month payments of 2547.84. So 2547.84. Those are the payments. You put it in as negative, and then 0 for the future value. It should be paid off. Okay. So we want the 28th payment. So how do we do that? Well, you want the interest, included in the 28th payment. So we go second PV. We get to the amortization table. For P1, we put in 28. Okay, enter. And P2, we will also put in 28 because we're interested only in the 28th payment. Now, we only want the interest. So the interest, the number is, it says enter a positive value, 1766.52. It says enter a positive value rounded to 2 decimal places. So that should be the correct answer, and it is. Okay, so there we are. That is question number 5. And we will do question number 6. All right, Roberto has taken out a loan for server equipment for his business totaling $18,000. The loan will be repaid by making end of quarter payments of $505.39 for the next 11 years. Okay, interest is 3.9% compounded monthly. Find the balance. Now we want the balance on the loan at the end of the 4th year. All right, so let's start. Okay, so the payments are end of quarter payments. All right, so let's go in there, come out of the amortization menu, end of quarter. So PY would be 4. Okay, what is CY? The compounding is monthly. So CY would be 12. Enter and we can check, go back, PY is 4, CY is 12, and then we get out of there. All right, so it's to go for 11 years. Okay, there's the 11 years there. So 1, 1, oops, sorry, 1, 1, second, N, N, and N is 44. Okay, what is the value for IY? The value for IY is 3.9. So 3.9 IY. Okay, and what else? The present value is, of course, the money that was borrowed, which is the $18,000. Okay, that's the loan, $18,000. That is the present value. All right, so the payments, these are the payments. The payments are each 505.39. Okay, right here. So 505.39 plus minus, that's the payment, and it should be 0 at the end of the 11 years. Okay, so balance at the end of the 4th year. So what happens? All right, so to know the balance at the end of the 4th year, we take 4, and then we can multiply by what? Well, we have to multiply by PY. Okay, and PY is what? Well, PY is end of quarter, making end of quarter payments. So we multiply by 4, and the answer will be 16. So in the 4th year, the balance we are computing for the. So let's put it in here because we can type a little bit in here. P1 would be equal to 16. P2 would also be equal to 16. And then we go and search for the balance. Then we want the BAL. All right, so that's what we're after. So let's go back a little bit here and we can see what's happening. So P1 is 16 and P2 is also 16, and then we get the balance. Okay, so let's do that. So second PV, P1 is 16 and we enter, and P2 is also 16 and we enter that, and the balance is whatever that value turns out to be. It's 12326.12, and hopefully that is correct. Enter a positive value. Okay, so that is what we did, and we are correct. Okay, so let's stop here for now, and I'll continue with the other questions on another